Hey guys, I hope you're doing well. Now in this video I'm going to show you how we can create really simple floor plans using SketchUp Free. Now these floor plans will be really useful, say if you just moved into a new room and you want to kind of figure out the layout of where you want to put your bed, your drawers and your wardrobe, that kind of deal. It could also apply to kitchens or dining rooms. Basically any room in your house that you want to create and get an understanding of the layout, we can do that using SketchUp Free, and I'm going to show you how to do that in this video. Now there's going to be a few requirements for you to create these plans in SketchUp. First you're going to need a tape measure, which is going to be used to take measurements of the room that you want to create a layout for. And the next thing is you're going to need a Trimble account, and that will be created when you log into SketchUp Free, and I'll show you how to do that once we jump onto the desktop. So the first thing you're going to want to do is basically measure up your room. So this is where we use a tape measure and a pen and a piece of paper. And what you do is basically just go around your room, measuring all the walls and drawing them on your piece of paper. Now they don't have to be to scale on your paper itself, but just make sure your measurements are consistent. So if you're measuring in millimeters or meters, just make sure you're consistent when you make the markings on your paper. And then from there we'll be able to transfer that simple line sketch into your SketchUp. Also, you want to take measurements of any elements that you're going to be placing in your room. So on my piece of paper here, I'll probably show it on screen, but you can kind of see from this that I basically got three main elements that I'm putting into my room. So one is my bed, which measures about 2 meters by 1.5 meters. The others are a drawer and a wardrobe. You can basically have as many elements as you want, but the only thing is you've got to make sure you measure them. So measure the footprint of those objects, and you may need a friend or family member to help you measure, especially if it's a really long wall, or you can go from about the midpoint. It doesn't have to be super accurate, but the more accurate the better in this case. So once you've completed that and you've got a piece of paper with your measurements on it similar to mine, we can jump over to Google and I'll show you how to log into SketchUp Free. So the first thing you want to do is jump on into Google, and if you just type in SketchUp Free, hit enter. Now it should be this first link, so if you just click on this first link here and it will take us to the SketchUp Free website. So this is on the Trimble website even, sorry, and what we can do is just click start modeling. Now from here it will probably make you sign up to a Trimble account. So if you have a Trimble account, sign in, or you can create one here using Google or Apple. I recommend doing that. But then once you do that, you should kind of enter the SketchUp Free page, and it will run you through a tutorial. You can either skip the tutorial or go through it. I do recommend just having a look through and having a play with SketchUp. But once you do that, you want to basically create a new model, and we will move from there. So once your SketchUp Free loads in, it might look something like this. Because I've already got an account and have a bunch of models already on it, you'll see that these are appearing. You will probably be taken straight into a fresh model, I believe. That's what happens when you go through the tutorial. So from there, you can either come to the home part or create new, and that's probably what I'm going to do now. So I'm going to click create new, and I've now got a blank kind of SketchUp model to work with. Now in this video I'm not going to run through all the tools. I've got other videos that basically cover that, and I've got actually SkillShare classes on that, but this is going to be very simple and very easy to do anyway. There's nothing too complex in this video. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is take in my piece of paper with my measurements on it, this one, which you should also have in front of you. What we're going to do is basically draw out the initial room. So this is actually pretty easy room to draw. It's 4 meters by 5 meters or 4,000 millimeters by 5,000 millimeters. Now I've got my SketchUp set up in millimeters. Yours may be different, and I think you can change it to within, if I go to app settings, you can see my default template is at millimeters. Now if you're working in feet and inches or meters, you can change it here. But I like to use millimeters because they're pretty accurate, and that's what I've grown up using. So I'm going to close that. So the first thing I'm going to do is basically draw that rectangle for the room. Now to do this, I'm going to use my pen tool. So I'm just going to click on the little, just like a little pencil icon actually. And I'm going to click once on the origin, and I'm going to lock to the green axis. You'll see it kind of lock when it kind of snaps to that kind of green line. And what I'm going to type in is 5,000. Now that will appear in the bottom right hand side of my screen as I type it, like that. I hit enter, and that's a 5,000 millimeter line on the green axis, like that. Now the pen tool is still kind of selected, but I'm now going to basically move to the red axis, and this time I'm going to type 4,000 and hit enter. And then I'm going to come back to the green axis, and it's kind of automatically locking to the origin point. So from here I can just click once and then click again on the origin, and that will basically finish the outside of my room, essentially the perimeter of the room. Now what I want to do is actually group this so we don't interfere with it. So to do that, I'm going to basically triple click it, and I'm going to right click and do make group. And now that is its own entity, meaning that we can move it around and we can add to it, and it's not going to be affected by anything we do. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm basically now going to draw all the elements in the same method. So I've got my bed, my drawers and my wardrobe. I might actually add the desk as well, because I kind of forgot to add that, but I might add the desk to my room. So I'll show you another example. So now I'm going to draw the bed. I'm going to just make sure it's next to the room. So I'm going to lock to my green axis, and it's going to be 2,000 mil or 2 meters by 1.5 meters, which is 1,500, like that. And then bring it down to that point there. So I just use my arrow keys there to lock to the green axis. Click there, there you go. I'm going to triple click that again, make group, and now that is my bed. I'm just going to do the same for the drawers and the wardrobe. Alternatively, you could use a rectangle tool. I'll show you how you do that. So for my drawers, they're 800 by 500. So I'm just going to click once, and then in the dimensions in the bottom right hand corner, you can see they're moving as I move my mouse. But we want it to be, what do we want? 800 by 500. So in order to do that, I'm just going to type 800 and a comma, and then 500. And then hit enter. Apparently that's the golden ratio. And then I'm going to do the same, make group. So that's my drawers. And now the final one, I'm going to do another rectangle, because that was quite easy really. We're going to do the wardrobe, so that's 600 by 500. Triple click that, and we can just make it another group. Cool, so that's our kind of elements for now. I'm actually going to add the desk as well. So my desk is about 1.5 meters by about 700. So I just type that in there. Boom. Triple click that, make group, and that's my desk there as well. So once you've got all your elements, you can basically begin to move them into your floor plan. But what I'd like to do is actually just color code them a little bit, so it makes it a little bit easier to distinguish which is which. Now to do that, I'm just going to press B on my keyboard, which will bring up the materials tab. And here we can just kind of select some basic materials. I mean, we could use colors, and I probably will use colors to be honest, because I think it's just easier to color code it. So for my room, I'm probably going to do it this kind of like a pinky color. That's going to be my room. My bed is going to be green. My drawers can be like a blue color. And then my desk, I guess my desk can kind of be yellowy. Nice hue of yellow. And then what's the final thing? On my wardrobe. My wardrobe would do like a kind of dark pink, like that. So these are kind of the elements now. They're all color coded. We can kind of hide this tab. Now if we select one of our objects and press M on our keyboard, that will open up the move tool. From here we can click on one point and then drag it to the position that we want. So my bed is probably going to be quite central in the room, and I'm actually using the orbit tool as well to orbit. So I'm going to make my bedroom probably midpoint of the room. I'm going to bring it away from the wall ever so slightly, like that. Now you can see that we're having a bit of a kind of clipping issue here. So that means the layers are on the same level, but they're basically clipping between each other. So to fix that, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to create some 3D-ness, some depth to my items. So we could make them actually, you know, the height of the actual items, and that's probably like, if you wanted to add that element, that's probably a good way to do it if you just want to really simply block out your items. But again, this is just supposed to be for simple floor plans, so I don't want to get in too much into the 3D side of it. That would be in other videos, you know, on more detailed interior stuff. But to kind of adjust that so it stops that kind of clippingness, I'm going to double click into my bed, which is the group. I'm going to press P on my keyboard, which will open up the push pull tool. I'm going to click once, and you know, I mean, I guess we could go roughly to the size of the height of a bed, so I'm going to go 400, and that'll work nicely for the bed. Now here's my desk. I'm going to do the same here. I'm probably going to move it to about the midpoint of the group, about there, away from the wall a little bit. And desks normally sit about, you know, 700 high, give or take. These are my drawers, so again, I'm just going to move them into place, double click them. These can probably go about 1,100, push pull, probably about 1,100. Pretty standard drawer heights. And then this is my wardrobe, so I can go in this corner of the room. And this is probably about, yeah, about 1,000, probably about 1,900. Like that. So that is a really simple way of kind of creating a layout of the room. So from here we can just move our elements around, we can rotate them, we can see where we want to position them, and we can figure out where they're going to fit. And I think it's important to color code them. I mean, you could put labels on these things, so you could actually write text on, you could actually write text on these objects. So for example, if I go into my bed, and then I come to this arrow here underneath the rectangle, there is a text tool. So you can enter 3D text. If I just put bed, okay, we can just put that on our bed like that. So if you wanted to do that just to make it a bit more clear, that's something you can do, and you can always, you know, rescale this so it's smaller. You can actually, I think you can change the font in SketchUp Vray. So to kind of get a good viewpoint of this like floor plan, what I recommend doing is going to the search icon here and type in field or view, and this will basically change the focal length of our camera. So we want to make it basically quite flat. So if I click and drag, you can see that I'm going really flat, and then when I'm above it, like so, you can see we kind of got a more flat on plan. And also what we can do is we can type in top view into our search bar, and that will give us a top-down view of our model. Now that paired with the low field of view will kind of basically make it look like a 2D plan, and you know, you can actually probably move stuff around here, and it might be a little bit clearer as to where you want to position things whilst doing it from above. So yeah, you can move your items about pretty easily from this viewpoint. So that is just a really simple way of how you can create floor plans in SketchUp Vray. I hope it makes sense. We're basically just blocking out the items and then, you know, moving them around using the move tool and keeping them on the correct axis as well, which is important. From here, you can basically download a PNG, so an image file of this, or you can basically print to PDF. So if you click print, you can actually print it to a PDF. So if you wanted to send this somewhere or print this out, you could do that as well. Now this obviously isn't the most in-depth 3D modeling, but it's probably quite helpful to a lot of people that just want to plan out a room using a bit of software. I do have like far more in-depth classes over on my Skillshare page. Here I basically walk through all the steps to take you from a beginner to a more professional user of SketchUp, and also I cover Vray, which basically is creating amazing visuals of your designs and your interiors and things like that. I also have plenty more videos of tips and tricks here on my YouTube channel. I'm just getting started here, so if you could subscribe and drop a like on this video, that would really help me out. Excuse me. Skillshare is still running the 1 month free, so if you use any of my links and then sign up, you will get 1 month free. So you get 1 month free access to my lessons, so please do check them out. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's pretty simple, pretty short, but hopefully you learned something and you can use it in your next interior endeavor. But otherwise, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.